Member of Parliament Dr. Rondell Rodolph Samuel wants to know what more is needed as support. Minister of Finance working on financial injection for those not currently working. But first up, former Commissioner and Chief of Police Derek Holliday is laid to rest. Those are the headlines for Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. This is SXM Daily News. I'm Valerie Van Putten. Now for the details. Due to the social distancing of COVID-19, former Commissioner and Chief of Police and Labor Mediator Derek Edison Holliday was laid to rest today in a private by invitation only service. His life was remembered by those who knew and worked with him. His life mirrored the sentiment of the Live Nice song by Calypsonian Rootsman that called on people to live nice with everyone they encountered and to give a helping hand wherever and whenever it was needed. Derek Holliday died on March 10th in the Cayman Islands, where he was seeking medical attention. And at the weekly Council of Ministers press briefing, Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs also extended her condolences on behalf of Government of St. Martin to the family and friends of the former Chief of Police.
Firstly, let me extend my condolences to His Excellency Governor Holliday and Mrs. Holliday, Mrs. Jacqueline Holliday, and the sons of the deceased, siblings and extended family, loved ones, as they lay the body of their brother, husband, father, loved one, former police chief Derek Holliday to rest today in what is a very private family ceremony. The general public is asked not to visit, as they would also like to have uphold the social distancing guidelines, and as such, it is already a very taxing time. Much strength goes out, and Godspeed as you handle such difficult business in these trying times.
The Prime Minister also briefed the press about the general meeting via video conference that was held with the Dutch Caribbean islands on March 24th on the COVID-19 pandemic and the financial consequences that the islands will be facing in light of the pandemic. The conference was also attended by Minister of Home Affairs and Kingdom Relations, Raymond Knops. The agenda was based on the updating of the situation per country.
On March 24th, 2020, as Prime Minister and Chair of the EOC, I held meetings with all the emergency support function coordinators, known as ESFs, of the EOC. This is after having first a video conference with the Ministry of Health, including Minister Knops, BZK was present, as well as all 6 islands/countries within the Dutch Caribbean. This was done via a video conference, and the agenda of said meeting was updating on the situations per country, going through the scenarios regarding the developments, as well as the extra measures that were being taken per country and island, referring to the best islands, continued cooperation on care, especially for acute patients already who were traveling back and forth within the islands. St. Martin continues to cooperate with Saba and St. Eustatius, as I've mentioned before, and that's why flights will continue to facilitate medical emergencies and regular visits for doctor, etc., under special conditions, of course. And if, I believe, most of the acute patients of the Saba and Statia were already transported to Bonaire. We also talked about our cooperation on dealing with COVID-19 patients. This will be, of course, only go into effect if necessary when the capacity of one or the other islands or countries has been reached. As you know, Saba and Statia are even smaller than we are and have no capacity to be able to deal with persons that would need to be on a ventilator. Acute care outside of the kingdom was also discussed, and as I had mentioned last week, you know, St. Martin no longer has the opportunity to send patients outside the kingdom, so therefore it is either Curaçao or we will have to deal with the situation ourselves. As a matter of fact, on Sunday, A group of our patients that were stationed in Colombia returned and are currently being monitored by CPS. So they form part of the group in the 322 that I mentioned in yesterday's update. There is also a declaration of cooperation that is being established for all the 4 countries, which include, of course, how Sabre Station and Bonaire will be impacted and assisted. And this declaration is in principle agreed upon and in our next meeting will be signed off on. We continue to look to, as Minister of Finance already mentioned, the assistance from our kingdom partners, both Curaçao, Aruba, if necessary, for medical evacuations and for assistance in terms of technical assistance. And of course, we've already requested the Beistant in the form of the military to be on the island should any type of unrest take place or should any type of enforcement of border closures be necessary, as well as upholding any type of state of emergency should that be necessary within the future. Proper preparation prevents serious consequences, and if we do not have that type of assistance on island in advance of a breakout, we would then be in, let's just say, very hot water.
And in news out of Marigot, 2 new COVID-19 cases for French St. Martin were reported by health agency ARS on Monday. Total active cases on the French side are now up to 6. 3 are in St. Louis Constant Fleming Hospital, and in addition to a pregnant woman transferred to the Guadeloupe University Hospital, and 2 are confined to their homes. 2 former patients have already recovered and has left the island. St. Bart's has currently 2 cases confined to their homes. 1 former patient has recovered. ARS stressed on its Monday bulletin that people returning to the island must absolutely respect the 14-day isolation period, as this is the only way to fight the epidemic and preserve the energy and health of the frontline medical professionals on whose care and expertise everyone depends. We continue to call for the utmost cooperation and solidarity from everyone in order to apply and respect the national guidelines. Awareness of containment must be immediate and taken responsibly, ARS emphasized. ARS is appealing to the health professionals, doctors and nurses who wish to volunteer to contact them. And still to come, the University of St. Martin is to offer students the possibility to continue their classes online. I'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
And as we continue now, Minister of Finance Arduat Irian gave an update of the various companies that government is working with to try to mitigate the financial burden that the island will be facing. The minister is also working on a financial injection plan for those who are currently not working due to the coronavirus pandemic. The minister is diligently working on finding a solution as he is in constant communication with his other colleagues and the CFT regarding financial support.
Been in constant contact also with the CFT pertaining to financial support. What I can say is this. In addition to government, we have been in contact with the different entities, different companies on the island in terms of relief. One entity, a company, is GEBE, which already have stated their way of helping the population with their reduction in their fees. To note also, they are also on a monthly basis, will be looking at their position to see if they can go even further lower in terms of utility bills without forcing the company obviously into bankruptcy or without having to lay off their own employees. That is also counterproductive. We've had cooperation from the banks via the Bankers Association, who are also given grace periods or reliefs in terms of payments, deferring payments for at least 3 to 6 months for residential and for businesses. We've also gotten information from UTS and Telem, which some I still have to review, but they are also giving relief packages in terms of data, increased data, new packages for the citizens of St. Martin. We've also spoken to the car dealerships that have lease agreements, and together they have also given a combined relief, and some on a case-by-case basis, of 2 months deferred payments. We've also spoken with NRPB. We're in close contact via the Prime Minister also on working together on packages for small, medium enterprises. We're also looking at extending the program that we had after the hurricane for the training program. Government is also looking at ways on tax incentives, but we can't, again, do this without possibly changing legislation. The idea for government is that we look at the persons that have lost their job, unemployed currently, at the risk of losing their jobs, to give them a financial injection. We're also looking at food vouchers. We are working, again, closely with the Netherlands. This Friday, there will be this discussion and decision on how this support will be distributed. The Netherlands wants to have a unified approach and a fair approach through the other islands, the Curaçao, Aruba, and St. Martin, on the way the money is distributed. So we are also waiting to hear how this will be done. We have indicated the preliminary figures that we believe that we need to sustain the country, sustain government, and also help those most in need in society, not only now, but those to come. Again, I would like to say thank you to my staff. They have been putting in 12-hour shifts every day for the last 2 weeks. I don't want to go without thanking them. I would also like to thank the staff of ICT, who are also getting us from going from physical to online, getting all the employees who want to work from home to be able to work at home. I'd like to thank DCOM that are here every week, making sure we are able to communicate to the public via press briefings, via video graphics online. Everything that you see produced online comes from people that are coming, also putting leaving their homes to come to work so that you could have information and you could feel comfortable and safe at home.
And in other news at this time, President of the University of St. Martin, Dr. Antonio Carmona Baez, says that after monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic since early March, they have decided to offer the possibility for their students to continue with their classes online. He was at the time speaking to the Voice of St. Martin's newsroom.
I think it's important to state that the administration of the University of St. Martin has been monitoring the situation since early March. And we know that on the 11th of March, the World Health Organization made an official statement indicating that the coronavirus or COVID-19 has become a pandemic, meaning that it is highly contagious, affecting all countries and societies across the globe. We, at that point, started to make inventory of all the programs and electronic platforms that are available to both our faculty and the students. And so, as per instructions given by the Honorable Prime Minister, Sylvia Jacobs, we acknowledge that all schools and institutions of education, including USM, would be closed to students and the general public. So this is not something that we did alone. We were first monitoring the international situation, and secondly, working closely with government and other school boards. And under the Prime Minister's leadership, St. Martin decided that education will continue as an essential service, but it has to be, of course, done in a very safe manner. And the safest way to do that is, of course, not to have students in class close to others, because, of course, social distancing is the #1 strategy to stop contagion. And so what we did is we sent out surveys to both our students and our professors, our instructors, and we asked them, do you have internet at home? Do you have access to internet regularly? And do you have a laptop or a computer from which to work? And most of the students and, of course, most of the instructors said yes, and some of the instructors informed management of how they've already been using electronic platforms like Canvas. Canvas is a very popular academic electronic platform whereby instructors can deliver readings and videos and other material, and whereby students can also take quizzes, exams, and deliver their term papers. And then we use Zoom. Zoom is an electronic platform for communication, very popular among the institutions of higher education in the Caribbean region. And with Zoom, instructors can deliver their lectures streaming online. And they can also be recorded so that the students could hear the lectures or see the lectures over and over again if needed. And so with these two electronic platforms, what we've done is we've been able to set up a contingency plan. Now, all schools are required to send a contingency plan. Today is the deadline that was given by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports. Yesterday, the administration, USM management, finalized this plan. And that plan was done with close communication with students, faculty, and of course staff, because the institution cannot run without, of course, there being a minimal core staff at the university.
TLM Group of Companies says that starting Monday, personnel will be working a split shift system with 50% of employees working from home and the other 50% remaining to work in the company offices and various departments. Management informed the SMCU union and employees last week about the new working arrangement to protect employees, their families, and customers from the coronavirus COVID-19. It follows an earlier decision by DLM Group management to adjust business opening hours to the public until further notice so that fewer persons can visit company locations each day. TLM Group CEO Kendall Dupersoy says that the company is continuing to implement its COVID-19 Contingency Plan 2020 as it continues to play its part in a community-wide effort to contain the spread of the deadly virus on St. Martin. The technology is available to hold virtual meetings and reduce person-to-person contact in the workplace. Management is setting its own example to employees by making use of this technology, and they are encouraging others to also do the same, stated Dupersoy in a release on Monday. And now turning to our weather forecast for March 25th, 2020. A relatively stable atmosphere will restrict precipitation across the local area, and additionally, the Atlantic high-pressure ridge will remain a gentle to moderate breeze seas that will remain slight to moderate during the next few days. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Minister of Finance responds to questions posed to him regarding the UTS shares. I'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
And as we continue now with the news, at the virtual plenary public session on Monday, March the 23rd, in which Minister of Finance Ardwell Edion was responding to questions put forth to him by his colleagues regarding the UTS shares, the minister responded to questions from MP Sarah Westcott-Williams, MP Christopher Emmanuel, MP Anna Richardson, and MP Claudius Moncamper. Also included in his answers was how much have you spent on the coronavirus COVID-19?
Answering MP Westcott's question pertaining to the final figure, as indicated in the previous meeting, due to the confidentiality clause in the agreement, this information can be made available to the members of Parliament upon their request. The payment can be even jeopardized by breaking this clause. Please be informed the figures will be put at the Khafir for Inzar. What is the current liquidity position of the government at the moment? The current liquidity position is 30 million guilders. Bless you. Combating the coronavirus, recording the costs, how much money did we spend so far on the coronavirus? At this moment, I am unable to inform you of this exact amount. The Ministry of Finance is assessing the information of all the third parties, relevant parties, that is necessary to prepare our economic stimulus. And all COVID-related expenditures are not centralized as yet per ministry. Just an example of this, for example, there was a ministry that requested 2 laptops recently and did not specifically indicate that this was pertaining to COVID, but in the end it was, so they could work from home. MP Emmanuel, Liberty, oh yes, whatever can be guaranteed that Liberty will pay this money and not make an excuse basically for the COVID situation. We have an agreement with the company that they have always expressed their willingness to finalize this transaction, hence the importance to complete this process as soon as possible. I'd also like to indicate that actually UTS has been behind the ministry and wanted to know when this meeting will continue because they want to pay. Can we list where the money will go to in response to the COVID-19? The money that from UTS will go to the general coffers. As previously indicated, an assessment of the damage is being done. With the IMF, the central bank, the CFT, we are looking at what the total damage, the total cost of COVID will amount to in the future, in this couple of months. And when we get more details, we will share this. But also, I would like to say that the comments from MP Moncamper, I definitely would like to thank you for those comments, because at the moment, the government is under financial stress because, again, we are currently already in a deficit position. We are also still requesting and requiring liquidity support from the Netherlands. And we initially paid the police out of our liquidity at that point in time. So this money will be coming to the general coffers. But as of now, within all the 7 ministries, most of our tasks right now are COVID related. So I can say this, at least from finance, we have given priority to all advices, and expenses related to COVID. MP Anna Richardson, the monies are going to come to the Justice Workers still. With regard to the status of the overall payment, the LBHAM with the scales has to be signed by the governor. In the meanwhile, the individual amounts have to be calculated based on the real career of the individuals, which is a very time-consuming task. When both items are finalized, the payments will be and can be prepared.
And Member of Parliament, Dr. Randall Rodolph Samuel, in his address, questioned what more does the Minister of Finance need as support in order to have money become available to help this country. He said that $230 million is already available to St. Martin.
The Parliament of St. Martin have been asked to vote for the 550 million euro. We know how it all went and how it all broke down. And not so long ago, I was informed that about 230,000 was given to the NRPB and about 200,000 remain in a trust fund. I don't understand why the minister do not put or letting us know whether or not he's putting extra emphasis on getting more money out of the trust fund, because the money that has already went to the NRPB could have been allocated for some projects, could have been, but there is more than 200, there's about 200 million guilders or dollars readily available that have been made to St. Martin, made available to St. Martin because of the problems that we had with EMA. This money is here, Mr. Chairman. It is impossible for us to tell the people of St. Martin that we have to go on our knees again to go and beg the Dutch for money that is already here, Mr. Chairman. This cannot be expected. This cannot be expected to go down the same way it went down. This country right now, when you look at the news that is coming in, you can see America has problems, Holland has problems, Britain has problems. We have our own problems, Mr. Chairman. And I can't understand why we have to go to the route of IMF, CFT, World Bank. The money is in St. Martin. The money is, what is expected from us anymore? What it is, the minister, and I ask him and I want him to understand me clear. What more does the Minister of Finance need as support in order to make money come available to help this country? We don't have time. We don't have time. What it is we want. This is not, Mr. Chairman, I could see you laughing, you know, but Mr. Chairman, this is not a laughing matter. This is not a joke. You go to any one of the pharmacies and you ask for a mask. Ask for one mask, Mr. Chairman, and see if you can get it. We are getting indications that COVID-19 can be airborne. For someone like myself who studied biology, I know exactly what that means. It means, Mr. Chairman, you can walk outside and get sick because you don't have a mask. Go and ask for one mask, Mr. Chairman. And you're telling me we have about 200 million in a trust fund that was given to St. Martin, and the Minister of Finance have to be begging money all over the world?
And as we end this edition of SXM News for this evening, the Electoral Council wishes to inform the general public of its closure during this period. The Electoral Council will be closed from Monday, March 23rd, 2020, and will continue to monitor the advice of the government of St. Martin concerning the COVID-19 virus. The Electoral Council is requesting, however, that all candidates who still need to complete their donation registration to please do so before the final deadline of March 31st, 2020. Now, I'm Valerie Van Putten. Just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, I thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.